Hello and welcome to Nationwide. I am Bintu Aliyu Sumodu. Now, President Buhari presides over a security meeting at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The meeting is being attended by Minister of Defense Brigadier General Mansur Dan Ali, Chief of Defense Staff General Abayomi Olonishakin, Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, and Acting Inspector General of Police Muhammad Adamu, Director General National Intelligence Agency Ahmed Rufai Abubakar, Chief of Defense Intelligence CDI Air Vice Marshal Muhammad Saliu Usman, Chief of Staff Abba Kyari, SGF Boss Mustafa, Minister of Interior Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Dambazo, Major General Babagana Manguno, and DG DSS Yusuf Magaji Bichi are also attending the meeting. Now, barely a week after his re-election, ECOWAS Chairman President Muhammadu Buhari has hit the ground running by again dispatching Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyama as special envoy to Guinea-Bissau ahead of the parliamentary elections scheduled for this Sunday. The minister met with key stakeholders, including President Mario Vaz. Foreign Desk correspondent Makut Simon Macham reports.
This is the fifth time President Muhammadu Buhari, as ECOWAS chairman, is dispatching his special envoy to Guinea-Bissau, Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyama, to follow up on planned elections in that country with a view to resolving some challenges. Although the elections have been shifted previously, ECOWAS chairman President Muhammadu Buhari is determined to ensure that all obstacles towards free, fair and credible elections in Guinea-Bissau are removed. This visit is just a few days away from parliamentary elections rescheduled for Sunday, 10th March. The minister met behind closed doors with Prime Minister Aristo Gomes before heading to the electoral management body to meet Jose Pedro, the chairman. The delegation was offered explanations over the blank voter registers in some areas that have been generating arguments, assuring them that everything has been resolved. The minister later met with President Mario Vaz, who assured that the elections will not be postponed again. He also handed over a congratulatory message to the minister for onward delivery to President Muhammadu Buhari over his re-election.
We were sent as a special envoy of President Muhammadu Buhari, who, as you know, is the president of the authority of ECOWAS heads of state. The president has just assured us that definitely on Sunday legislative elections will take place, and this will be the first peaceful elections here in Guinea-Bissau for many years, and it is a watershed, a decisive moment in the history of this country.
President Buhari's intervention as ECOWAS chairman, determined to ensure there is smooth transition here in Guinea-Bissau, is received here with a lot of respect, owing to the fact that Nigeria has just demonstrated leadership by example by conducting its own elections that have been adjudged free, fair and credible. From Bissau, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
Thank you, Makut. Now, the governing All Progressives Congress is to have a befitting National Secretariat as a symbol of sacrifice, tenacity of purpose and patriotism by well-meaning Nigerians to democratically reclaim the country and salvage it for a sustainable future. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this while hosting a victory dinner for members of the Presidential Campaign Council of the party. State House correspondent Adam Sambu has details.
The Presidential Campaign Council, comprising more than a dozen directorates, was responsible for, amongst others, the formulation of policies, strategies and decisions that led to the successful electioneering campaign by the APC across Nigeria. With the objectives now fully realized, the council might be disbanded any moment from now, but not without President Muhammadu Buhari, who won the election, showing his debt of gratitude to the members.
I thank you for all the sacrifices we have been making of personal comfort, both material and physical.
The president, who went down memory lane on the journey so far by the governing APC and the secret behind his success in the murky waters of Nigerian politics, simply concluded that there is nothing much more than tenacity of purpose and clear conscience.
I have been tenacious because people who trusted me, I wouldn't like to disappoint them. I kept on trying. And we have this an incredible country, we thank God. We have people, we have resources. We must organize ourselves to develop this for the future generations.
And on the National Secretariat of the APC, the president said the governing party deserves a more befitting edifice as national headquarters.
So that even if people got disillusioned and slowed down, the headquarters will remind them that once upon a time there was a tenacious team that likes to leave something in the history of politics in Nigeria. So very soon, as soon as I was voting for the second time, I will launch a campaign to build a befitting headquarters for APC.
The Director General of the Campaign Council, Rotimi Amechi, and the Vice Chairman South, Senator Ken Nnamani, thanked the President for the opportunity to serve and, most importantly, leading them to a successful battle. The victory achieved by the APC, they say, was largely attributable to the personality of the Nigerian leader, emphasizing, however, that sustaining the momentum beyond the second four-year term is now a big challenge for the party.
Everybody made his or her own contribution. Without discipline, we can't sustain this momentum. We cannot allow this enthusiasm to die down.
Victory celebrations by the APC family members continue. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And ahead of the March 9 governorship and House of Assembly elections, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is urging supporters of the All Progressives Congress in Akwa Ibom State not to relent in their efforts at ensuring victory for all candidates of the party. He made this known at a town hall meeting during a thank you visit to Akwa Ibom State. Imo Etimuru reports.
From the reception at the Victor Ota International Airport, the Vice President was hosted to a town hall meeting at the campaign office of the All Progressives Congress APC governorship candidates for Akwa Ibom State, Obong Simaikere, where he conveyed the appreciation of President Muhammadu Buhari to the people of Akwa Ibom State.
We are deeply grateful for the votes that we got from Akwa Ibom State in the last presidential elections. I can assure you that all of our hopes and all of our aspirations will be met by the federal government of Nigeria.
National chairman of the APC, Comrade Adams Oshomole, told party faithful that they should continue to support the APC as the party will never allow their mandate to be changed.
Our commitment to support you is a reflection of our commitment to support the great people of Akwa Ibom State that deserve a change of government.
Senator Godswill Akpabio and the governorship candidate Obong Simaikere presented their grievances in the presidential and National Assembly election and called on the federal government to ensure a safe environment for the voters.
The vote of a zero local government was always the highest after Uyo. That is the truth. Even in terms of registration, the APC family got very discouraged. But with this visit today, are we not galvanized?
In Uyo, Imo Etimodo, NTA News.
Moving on now, members of the Presidential Support Committee Southeast Zone have congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari for his victory in the just concluded 2019 presidential election, noting that it is an expected victory given his antecedents. Laurita Erinze Igwem reports that the group made their position known during a press briefing in Owerri.
Speaking on the theme, post-election presidential and national election assessment and performance, the Director of Inter-Party Affairs of the group Southeast Zone, Robert Ngu, described President Muhammadu Buhari's victory as well-deserved, considering his remarkable achievements in the country. He appreciated President Buhari's acceptance speech of running an inclusive government and appealed to the president to incorporate the Igbos in the key positions of his administration, as well as completion of core projects he is handling in the country, including the second Niger Bridge and Akanibian Airport.
Hereby pleads and with the president and the APC to cede the office of the Senate President to the Southeast.
Testimony to prove a man of integrity, a man of his word, and a forthright person.
The group, however, pledged their continuous support to President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. In Owerri, Laurita Erinze Igwem, NTA News.
Now, ahead of the governorship and State House of Assembly election, the APC League of Patriotic and Progressive Youths are soliciting for more security across the country, particularly in Benue State. At a peaceful rally at the force headquarters in Abuja, the group has expressed concern about the security of lives and properties throughout the polls. They appeal to the police as the lead security agency in the 2019 general elections to reinforce security in all identified flashpoints to build on the successes recorded during the presidential and National Assembly polls.
We are calling on the Acting Inspector General of Police to deploy more police officers in the state to beef up security on election day for us so that the election can be peaceful. That is our demand, because we believe in the capacity of the Nigerian police to provide security for citizens, for indigents of Benue State on election day.
Acting Inspector General of Police is going to do that massive deployment, not only to Benue State, to other states and those flashpoints. I want to also appeal to also talk to your people to also try to maintain peace. On our own side, the Inspector General of Police is very ready to deploy men, adequate manpower to cover all the crannies, nooks and crannies of the whole Nigeria.
Now let's join Dotun in our Lagos Center for more reports on Nationwide.
And welcome to Lagos. In a bid to build investors' confidence, which was affected by political uncertainties prior to the 2019 general elections, the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI, in setting agenda for President Muhammadu Buhari's second term in office, has tasked him to implement policies and programs that will accelerate economic growth rate over the rate of population growth. Nenrot Nina Musa reports that the president of the LCCI, Babatunde Ruwashe, made the call at a media briefing in Lagos.
Mr. Babatunde Ruwashe, in highlighting the agenda for the 2019 President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration, emphasized the need for government's policies and actions to align with the content and direction of the Economic Recovery Growth Plan, ERGP.
We recognize that there is a correlation between investment growth, GDP performance, and tax revenue. This underscores the very important role that investment can play in boosting revenue of government.
In the areas of funding of government operations, he stressed that government should pay close attention to recurrent expenditure and debt service in order to give more room for infrastructure financing.
We request that PEBEC Secretariat should be further strengthened and the scope of its activities broadened to cover all sectors of the economy and all agencies of government that interface with private sector.
The LCCI president calls for the passage of National Roads Fund Bill, which will give legal backing to the proposed National Road Fund, and urged the federal government. The LCCI suggests the intervention of the presidency in reducing the burden of excessive taxation on oil and gas investors in the country, and also encourage government to facilitate more off-grid power generation for improved access to power. In Lagos, narrates Nina Musa, NTA News.
Nigerians are counting down to the governorship and state houses of assembly elections. Some significant lessons were learnt during the presidential election, which observers say would help the electorate during the oncoming election. Jane Ojukwu reports.
Nigerians had turned out massively to cast their ballot and decide who controls the affairs of the nation for the next 4 years. The voting process, though peaceful, was not without hitches at some polling centers.
In the polling unit where I voted, some people were not allowed to vote, and the INEC officials didn't come on time.
Card reader couldn't read my card, so I was not able to cast my vote, and they asked me to go.
The ad hoc staff, they just couldn't transport the sensitive materials to the collation center. So we had to rally ourselves and find a way to assist them in transporting the sensitive materials to their collation center. We made sure we had 2 policemen on ground.
The electorate expressed optimism that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, should address some of the identified challenges to improve the process.
I will advise them to come as early as possible, to at least they will strategize all the means to arrive the polling unit at the right time.
What security should be put on every polling unit. But what I'm talking about should be police.
On the 9th of March, Nigerians will return to the polls for the gubernatorial election. It is their wish that INEC would have put mechanisms in place to address all the challenges, particularly those emanating from card readers and logistics, not only to improve the process, but to enhance its credibility. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
Nigerians have been urged to consider waste recycling as an efficient source of revenue generation and a way to make the society green. Waste management advocates emphasize this at a sensitization program in Lagos. Imolayo Tokede has details.
Lagos State, with a population of over 20 million, generates about 20,000 tons of waste daily. These enormous amounts of waste management, experts say, makes collection and disposal of refuse a challenge. Most times, they clog drainage channels, compounding the impacts of flooding. One of Nigeria's beauty queens, Miss Earth Nigeria 2018, Maristella Okpala, as part of her pet projects, visited a school in Ajegunle, Lagos, to sensitize the children on proper ways to dispose waste. She also encouraged them to explore opportunities in waste recycling, as it can be a viable source of generating fluids for school fees of their wards.
I realized that the major problem we're having is that a lot of people are not aware. And I figured out that as the future generation, that's the children, I feel like they should be sensitized so that they can start, they can grow up with what we're about to show them today.
Let's start from young children. If they can pick bottles at home, their parents will see them and will want to do the same. They'll be able to now separate plastic waste from normal waste.
The beauty queen donated a recycle bin to the school and promised to sponsor the school fees of 20 children through a Waste to Wealth project.
In the past, much emphasis has not been placed on recycling. And this is, what I call it, another level of sensitization that it comes to recycling.
Globally, there are diverse initiatives to promote recycling of plastic waste. In Lagos, Imolayo Tokede, NTA News.
That does it from Lagos. It's over to Charles Abba in our Makurdi Network Center.
Good afternoon for joining us in Makurdi.
With just 4 days to the gubernatorial and state assembly elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and other major stakeholders in Benue State say they have taken proactive measures to ensure hitch-free and peaceful polls in the state. Here are the details. As close to 3 million registered voters prepare to exercise their franchise during the governorship and state assembly elections in Benue State, the INEC has assured the people of credible polls.
We'll be able to batch our materials across the entire local government effective Saturday, Sunday. As I'm talking to you today, all the materials for each local government are ready, and they've already been sorted out by the local government electoral officers.
This time around, on our part, it's not going to be different. We are prepared to be in able polling units within Benue State to ensure the safety and security of the electorates, election materials, and INEC officials.
It is on record that more than 40 political parties are active in the elections, with 32 governorship candidates and 454 state assembly seats. The joint military outfit for Benue, Nasarawa, and Taraba states, Operation Wellstroke, has arrested 7 persons in connection with the killing of several persons in Agagbe, West local government area by unknown gunmen. The operations commander, Major General Adeyemi Yekini, disclosed this while briefing newsmen in Makudi. Achigile Magaji has the details.
Operation Wellstroke has been operating in Benue and neighboring states as part of efforts by the federal government to enhance peace and security. General Ikini noted that on Saturday, the subsector of the command in the area got information of men in uniform heading to Agagbe village from the forest. Upon reaching the area, the military found out that an attack had taken place and some suspects were arrested, while 7 dead bodies were recovered. He said investigations are still going on as to who was involved.
What is clear is that the issue of killings and in fact criminal activities in Benue State go beyond just armed herdsmen alone. Perhaps there are other forces who are also involved in some of these criminal activities. And proper investigation needed to be carried out.
This information, I reported it immediately to the force headquarters, which they directed me to conduct a fighting patrol to this general area to confirm the situation. Before I could get to the general area, another call came to me another directive came to me from the force headquarters that this area is being under fire. I should expedite my movement.
General Ikini also explained that the matter has been reported to the Divisional Police Office, Naka, and that the suspects are undergoing interrogations. He called on members of the public to volunteer information for effective preemptive measures. In Makudi, Achigile Magaji, NTA News.
That report runs off our contribution from Makudi. After this break, please don't go away.
Buhari Support Group Center wishes to congratulate President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osibanjo for their recent victory at the polls. We also commend all BSGC members nationwide for their effort in re-electing the president, hoping the same will be achieved at the forthcoming governorship and State House of Assembly election on Saturday. Umaru Dembo, DG, BSGC. Announcer.
Women of this great nation, Nigeria, we are the bedrock of our communities, and therefore it is time we perform our civic responsibility to vote. Vote the candidate of our choice in order to have a better nation and achieve a brighter future.
Gbogbo obìnrin lọ́dọ̀ lágbà àsìkò ti tó láti tú jáde lọ dìbò fún ẹni tí ẹ yàn láyò kí ayé wa, ilé wa àti orílẹ̀-èdè wa kó lè dára.
To a gaishe ku mata, wannan lokaci
ne da kowace mata za ta fita domin ta zaɓi wanda ya dace domin kyautatawa rayuwarmu da kuma na 'ya'yanmu don gobe.
Ndewo na ụmụ nwaanyị ibe m, eji m ohere akpọkụ unu niile ka anyị pụta n'igwe anyị ka anyị binye aka nye onye kwesịrị ekwesị ka ọ chịa obodo anyị maka ọdịmma echi na ọdịmma ụmụntakịrị anyị.
Una no let the things wey una no fit do. Stop una to do the ones wey una fit do. Women, time don reach to go vote for the person wey go sweet your mind. That candidate wey go make our life cool.
This message is brought to you by the National Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, and the National Human Rights Commission, with support from the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP.
The 2019 general elections, this week on NTA Tuesday Live, plus focus on governorship, state assemblies, and local government elections. NTA Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. promises to be incisive and informative. Don't miss it.
Mass Medical Mission has finally done it, ensuring that the prevention of cancer and cancer-related ailments is available to you right where you are. Our mobile cancer center, also known as Pink Cruise, is equipped with relevant state-of-the-art medical equipment to serve you wherever you are. All you have to do is apply for the Pink Cruise to come to your community or organization by sending a request to info@pinkcruise.org. Remember to suggest 3 alternative dates when you will prefer the Pink Cruise to come to conduct free preventive health care at your doorstep, including checking your body, your eyes, and your teeth. For more information on the Pink Cruise and how to take advantage of it, please log on to www.pinkcruise.org or visit us at the MMM House, number 31 Abode Thomas Street, Surulere, Lagos, or call 0805-633-4288. Mission Pink Cruise, taking wellness to all.
When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over 40 years.
Glad you're still tuned to Nationwide on the NTA, the largest television network in Africa. Now, reports just reaching us indicate that more stringent measures have been taken by federal government towards ensuring that the forthcoming governorship and state assembly elections are not only conducted peacefully, but devoid of acts capable of undermining the electoral process. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Abubakar, announced this while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the high-level security meeting summoned by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Again, advise those that will want to disrupt the process to rethink, because during the presidential election, we had some few challenges here and there. Those challenges will not allow them to repeat themselves. We are taking more security measures to address those pockets of challenges we notice. So, torture again is not allowed. Ballot snatching is not allowed. Destruction of the process of the election is not allowed. We have resolved, the security personnel have resolved to deal ruthlessly with anybody that attempts to disrupt the process of this election. For that reason, we expect in every state the conduct of the election to be respected. We expect that electoral materials must not be tampered with. We expect that the INEC officials will do their work without fear or favor and without being allowed to be compromised. The same thing, the security personnel are to perform their duties without allowing themselves to be compromised.
And ahead of Saturday's gubernatorial elections, key players in Nigeria's electoral process converge in Abuja to discuss the challenge of vote buying. Victor Azu reports.
One of the major challenges of Nigeria's recent political experience is voter inducement. It is therefore not surprising that this national dialogue on the challenge of vote buying and selling, convened by the National Orientation Agency, attracted this magnitude of interest. Minister of Communications, Adebayo Shitu, urges participants to come up with lasting solution to the menace.
The rising phenomenon of vote buying during elections calls for deep concern. The subject matter of today's meeting has very, very critical stakeholders who cannot be found in our midst now.
Director General of the National Orientation Agency, NOA, Garba Abari, expresses optimism that the conference will influence a change of attitude, particularly ahead of the gubernatorial elections.
The National Orientation Agency is continuing in its sensitization in the advocacy. You must have seen our jingles on radio, on television against vote buying and the vote selling. And we are kicking again. Because as this program is happening today, it is going to be replicated down the line all over.
Participants and partners of NOA are of the view that stopping the menace of vote buying will require the collaboration of all Nigerians.
Vote buying and selling is a very serious offense, but I'm not sure anybody has been ever punished for doing this. So when you don't mete out punishment, we cannot expect any result.
It is through voting that citizens make choices among the contesting parties and candidates. And vote buying obscures that intention.
There was also a drama presentation to sensitize the electorate on the issue. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Now, as Nigerians gear up for the forthcoming gubernatorial and state assembly polls, the integrity and character of election returning officers have been put in the spotlight by guests on Good Morning Nigeria. They maintained that the engagement of returning officers for elections should be subject to integrity and quality of character. Daniel Aderiye tells us more.
The first phase of the 2019 general elections has come and gone. But as Nigerians prepare of election returning officers has become a subject of discourse.
Election is not an all-comers affair. There are people who the state pays money, trains, does all that is necessary for them to perform this job. What you then find is that these people the people you sidelined are the ones who eventually come do the work, and then the people you outsource the function to become announcers.
President of the Truth Be Told Network, Bola Bakari, noted that the inclusion of the academia, that is, professors and vice-chancellors, into the electoral process without the necessary prerequisite training may hitherto affect the ability to confidently announce election results.
We're not trying to berate the academia for being part of the process. Neither are we saying they are doing fantastically well. With proper education in what you were doing, your orientation will probably change to reduce that level of bias because that system affected your meal ticket.
Similarly, Mohammed Mainuma, a former vice-chancellor of Nasarawa State University, Kefi, highlighted that some of the bottlenecks experienced by the returning officers are mostly self-imposed, thus creating avenues for irregularities.
If you look at it critically, most of the people that are creating this problem, that are making people to talk, it is not because of their integrity, it is not because of the inducement, but it might be because of their challenges in terms of health, in terms of sight, in terms of the circumstances they find themselves.
The guests urged INEC and other agencies involved in the electoral process to be more proactive and make early preparations ahead of elections. In Abuja, Daniel Aderiye, NTA News.
Our Muslim Media Watch Group, a non-governmental organization, has called on the government and security agencies to enhance security at all polling zones and other security-threatened prone areas in the country to forestall any violence during and after the gubernatorial and state assembly elections. Speaking to the media, chairman of the group, Ibrahim Abdullahi, said the organization is worried about threats by some people who are bent on causing crisis during the polls. Hence, the need for additional security to forestall breakdown of law and order.
We are worried about threat to peaceful election of some people who are hell-bent on causing crisis during the polls. The need for additional security plans to forestall breakdown of law and order during the weekend election cannot be overemphasized.
On the rejection of results of the presidential and National Assembly elections by PDP presidential candidates, Ibrahim described the act as an unfortunate one, having been adjudged credible by international and local observers. He appealed to Atiku Abubakar to choose a legal option if appealing to concede defeat is not acceptable to him. Now to judicial matters. Justice Aminu Bapa Aliyu of the Federal High Court, Minna, has dismissed the People's Democratic Party certificate forgery suit against Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello for lack of merit. Mukhtar Abubakar reports that a similar allegation by the state PDP secretary is pending before the same court.
Justice Aminu Baffa Aliyu, while reviewing the plaintiff's settlement of claims, upheld that the objection of the defendants who argued that the case falls short of the requirement of Section 285, subsection 9 of the 1999 Constitution as amended because it was filed out of time. The court further held that the plaintiff People's Democratic Party, PDP, has failed to establish that Governor Abubakar Sani Bello submitted false information in the INEC form CF001.
It was dismissed, and that is the penalty that it deserves, with a cost of 500,000 naira.
Among the three arms of the government, it is only the judiciary that is maintaining this country, that is keeping this country intact.
The judgment is very sound, very direct, and very authoritative. There's a statute that limits filing of some classes of actions to within 14 days. This case is not among such cases, so the judge erred in law in holding that it applies to this case.
The plaintiff, People's Democratic Party, PDP, filed the case in January 2019 and alleged that Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello presented false statutory declaration of age and forged false degree certificate, while his deputy Ahmed Mohamed Keso was alleged to have forged SSCE certificates, even though he was not joined as a respondent in the suit. From the Federal High Court, Mina, Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
And still from Mina, the Niger State chapter of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have endorsed the candidature of Governor Abubakar Sani Bello for re-election during March 9 governorship election. The organized Labour gave the endorsement during an interactive meeting with the governor at the Labour House, Mina. Dauda Muhammad reports.
Niger State Chairman, Nigerian Labour Congress, Yahya Indako Idris, who communicated the organized labour's endorsement of the state governor for a second term, identified numerous issues that have been addressed by the present administration. The state NLC chairman added that the NLC president, Comrade Ayuba Waba, has also instructed all chapters to only support and vote for governors that have been paying salaries and pension, which is why the organized labour is supporting the governor's re-election bid.
He says the devil that you know is better than the angel you don't know.
We want to assure him that we will give him the necessary support so that he will come back to continue with the good job which he started.
Governor Abubakar Sani Bello, who used the opportunity of the interactive meeting to seek for the support and votes of members of the organized labour, revealed that despite paucity of funds, his administration has always paid salaries as at when due, in addition to meeting demands made by the labour.
From records,
I think what we have done for pensioners, no government has done it. I'm bold and proud to say it.
Enumerating further, Governor Bello said the state should be thinking of enhancing the productivity of civil servants through capacity building and the improvement of teachers through training, which is why state professional teacher training centers are being established in the 3 senatorial zones of the state. Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
Now, the Nigerian army parades suspects for electoral offences in Port Harcourt. Mina will give us details and other reports from that zone.
Hello, Binti, and welcome to Port Harcourt. The Nigerian Army 6th Division has handed over 53 alleged suspects accused of political thuggery to the police. The alleged offense was committed during the presidential and National Assembly elections of 23rd February 2019. Diankume Ulolo reports.
Suspects were arrested at different locations in Rivers State during the presidential and National Assembly elections. 13 of the suspects were arrested along Harristown in Degema local government area for their alleged thuggery and plans to disrupt the presidential and National Assembly elections.
Preliminary investigations revealed that are members of Ijo Youth Congress.
39 other suspects, including 11 corps members, 1 driver, and INEC ADOP staff with sensitive electoral materials, were also arrested at Greenside Hotel in Gokana local government areas, Rivers State.
On that fateful day, at about 1:30 in the afternoon, a tip-off, our troops at Gokana general area conducting Operation Self-Conduct for the presidential and National Assembly elections arrested 39 suspects. Preliminary investigations revealed that the suspects were moved to the hotel to rig the election in favor of a...
Another suspect was arrested with 142 permanent voters card in Asarama community, Andoni.
They asked us to forge the result in favor of a particular party. Which party? In favor of which party? The party was PDP, sir.
Items allegedly recovered from the hotel include 34 ballot boxes loaded with 3 card readers, 10 bags containing electoral materials. In Port Harcourt, Yanukume Ulolo, NTA News.
A group under the aegis of coalition of governorship candidates and party chairmen in Rivers State has dissociated itself from the purported endorsement of governor as sole candidate for the 2019 governorship elections by some political parties in Rivers State. Spokesperson for the group, Ezekiel Waribani, made the denial during a press briefing in Port Harcourt. Chidiebere Onya reports.
Addressing journalists in Port Harcourt, spokesperson of the group, Wani, said it rejected in totality the purported endorsement by some political parties recognizing Governor Nyesom Wike of the People's Democratic Party as the sole candidate for the March 9th gubernatorial election in the state.
We wholeheartedly ourselves from the concocted, misguided of Barrister Nyesom Wike as sole governorship candidate by the purported coalition of 58 political parties. Such endorsement is watery and belated.
The group also registered their display over the feud between the state and federal governments, which they noted is inimical to the development of the states.
Consequently, we call on Rivers people to support and vote their preferred governorship candidates who can work in harmony with the federal government to bring the desired dividend that will make the beloved state a safe haven.
On the forthcoming gubernatorial and state houses of assembly elections, they called on INEC to play by the rules of the game in the conduct of the polls. In Port Harcourt, Chidiebere Onya, NTA News.
of the strategic roles of the military in providing security assistance to civil authorities. Concerned women of Abonima are appealing to the federal government for the continued presence of officers and men of the Nigerian Army in the community to protect it from the claws of criminal elements. Onengie Fine-Face reports that some women from the community are opposed to military involvement in subsequent elections.
Clad in white, the women marched through Abonima bearing placards and singing for peace in the community. They fear for their lives should operatives of the Nigerian army deployed to the area vacate their posts, considering the terror on citizens by armed thugs in the area.
The army has been with us for a long time, so we don't want them to go. We want them to stay and work in synergy with the police to protect us.
They take their fears and concerns to the traditional leadership of the community, where they received assurances of spirited efforts to restore peace in Abonima.
We are concerning the crisis in Abonima and what happened in Abonima. So the committee will look at everything in its totality.
Meanwhile, some other women in the community, dressed in black, marched to mourn the dead in Abonima.
Today we're out to beg our chiefs to tell us what is the way forward, because this community is not known to be violent. And we're saying that the army should not be here again come the next election.
Their songs of sorrow worsened into wailing as they laid their petitions before the Amayanabo of Abonima.
Which vote are they looking for in Abonima that they will destroy Abonima because of election?
With the belief that Abonima will get back to its peaceful state. Onengie Fine-Face, NTA News.
That's a bit from Port Harcourt. It's back to you, Bintu, in Abuja for a continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Mina. This is Nationwide, reaching you live on the network service of the NTA. Time for another commercial break. Please stay tuned.
A new edition of TV Guide is out with special focus on the role of the media in election coverage. Exclusive on the National Broadcasting Commission, its mandate as the sole regulator of Nigerian media. Dr. Toba Daba then and Ishak Modibo Kawu now. This edition also features the king of stand-up comedy in Nigeria, Ali Baba. NTA standards to get ready for election transmission after decades of abandonment. Find out from the DG transactional elections in our political space. An evil wind that blows no good. DG, National Orientation Agency Conference. TV Guide, your indispensable companion, x-rays the impact of social media on electioneering process as electorates present their expectations from incoming government. Meet some TV professionals behind the screen and other inspiring stories in sports, entertainment, and lots more. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTA stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first. Get it fresh.
Now, expectations towards the governorship election in Jos. Caleb is standing by for details and other reports.
Thank you, Bintu. Welcome to Jos. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Plateau State, has commenced preparations towards the March 9th governorship and State House of Assembly elections to avoid hitches experienced during the last exercise. Head of Information and Voter Education, Osaritin Imaherabo, made this known in an interview with NTN News. Abba Abubakar Yakubu reports.
The head of Information and Voter Education of INEC highlighted some of the challenges encountered during the last presidential and National Assembly elections in some part of Plateau State, which include late arrival of election materials, failure of card readers, and inability of some election officials to conduct a smooth exercise. He said arrangements have been made to ensure the distribution of sensitive and non-sensitive election materials commence in earnest from this week's Wednesday to enable the materials reach its final destination through Friday night.
There will be a supplementary election in 4 local government areas where elections were deemed inconclusive for the Plateau South Senatorial District and then just not Bassa federal constituencies.
There will be refresher training to officials and ad hoc staff on the use of card readers. He added that already all the card readers has been reconfigured. In the area of continuous mobilization and voter education, INEC, in collaboration with NOA and IPAC, are carrying out sensitization campaign to encourage people to come out en masse to exercise their franchise.
So we expect that what we noticed in the last elections that led to the cancellations of some elections, some polling units will not take place again.
He reaffirmed that INEC will continue to conduct a transparent, free and fair election. In Jos, Abba Abubakar Yakubu, NTA News.
But some of the echoes of the exercise have left lessons that should be carried over to the next elections. Renred Sylvanus Lord engaged some residents of Jos on the lessons to take into the governorship and state assembly polls.
A lot of mixed feelings are trailing the remaining days, with expectations from both politicians and voters on how the elections should be improved upon. Residents of Jos reiterated the need for the election umpire to improve on its tactics for a better election.
They should be fair in everything. Like after the elections, the results should be called plainly for people to know that this is how it has gone. Because if they keep delaying the results, then it means automatically that people will think that there is some kind of rigging going on.
The education part of the INEC should work in educating the people. The parties were too much and people don't even know the alphabet that they should vote. So the votes were scattered.
They should address that issue of Kadrida and then some of the equipments that were not brought on time because people were there for long and then they were stressed out before they will start the main election.
We want to also see where the political party will also engage their agents so that they know the right thing to do from the onset to the end, so that we will not have cases of inconclusive election or high percentage of void votes or rejected ballot paper.
From all indications, there is an urgent need for the entire polity to be improved upon and for every citizen to believe in the Nigerian dream. In Jos, Renred Sylvanus Lot, NTA News.
And that's it from Jos. Bintu, it's back to you.
Thank you, Caleb. Now worried by increasing cases of human trafficking involving Nigerians in some countries, the federal government and authorities in Mali are collaborating to decisively deal with the problem. Nigeria is asking Mali to sign a memorandum of understanding to that effect. Usman Aliyu has the report from Bamako.
The Nigerian mission in Mali confirmed that an average of 20 girls are trafficked to Mali from Nigeria on a weekly basis. And mostly the girls are taken to camps in remote areas of Mali for sexual demand of local gold miners. That is what the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons say must stop and perpetrators brought to justice.
We need to know who these traffickers are and prosecute them. Because if you send them back to us and the traffickers are still having a field day, it will be an exercise in futility. They will just be recruiting more and more and more and more.
These meetings with the Malian Ministry of Justice and the Presidential Committee for Anti-Human Trafficking in Mali is a step further for NAPTIP to strike a deal for Memorandum of Understanding